Maria, your viewing clientele are perhaps as familiar with mobile phone contribution, reception, swapping of content. Are they sensitive to high definition?
You know, I think they are quite demanding in, you know, they know that that quality can be achieved, but equally, you know, they're really, my opinion anyway, is they're looking for immediacy. It needs to be convenient and immediate, and they're just as happy watching it on YouTube, you know, a grainy video downloaded on YouTube. So I think, you know, they're a bit of a complex market, really. They expect a lot quality-wise. You know, the kids have got great equipment in their bedrooms and so on and so forth, but equally they're used to watching it on a laptop, so it's a confusing one for us, I think.
I don't know whether you carried, I don't know, it would have been a bit late in the night anyway for me, but when MTV in the US started high def, it did a winter series of transmissions from a ski resort. And I saw some of the test footage of that. Now, of course, it's show reel, and anyone can make a nice show reel, but I have to tell you that was absolutely stunning because it was bright. The colours were fantastic. I mean, even in the sort of log cabin studio looking out over the resort, it was compelling television in terms of the visual quality. They were still really talking about the things that people talk about anyway on MTV. But did you have to think of some almost large stunt in that regard, or are you now just packaging up your regular programming in high definition?
Well, we have a lot of acquisition, so we are reliant on program makers making it in the right format for us. We obviously our own production. We try where that makes sense to produce it as high quality as possible. But yeah, getting enough content to make it a viable. Something that somebody is going to pay extra for to see, and to keep that content fresh and unique, and a reason why you would pay a bit more in your Sky subscription in order to get an MTV HD channel, I think is incredibly challenging for our program acquisition purchasers and creators.
Bob, I mean, what you're consulting to channels, you're being called in all the time on these exact same problems. What sort of advice do you deliver to a broadcaster contemplating the change, contemplating the step up to high def?
We start always with the business model. Why are you doing it? What do you think it will get you? What reason do you think you need either a new facility, which therefore we can have a conversation about HD because we're going to build something new,
scratch, yes.
Or what are you going to do in terms of your programming strategy? Why are we doing this? Is the first question we ask. A surprising number of our clients will say, well, because we have to, because everybody else is. And it's actually very interesting because it's quite a valuable argument. But an awful lot of them will come back and say, I can't continue in the facility I have. I know I've got to invest capital. I'd rather not, because that's a big chunk out of my business model. But how am I going to do this properly? And I don't want to have to spend yet more money in 3 years' time. So we start with a much longer term view, and I think I'm right. I'm just thinking, I think that's probably everybody we've spoken to in the last year, certainly, is exactly the same approach. Some have taken the view, not necessarily in Western Europe, but some have taken the view that I think I'll spend my money on the programs first. Thanks very much for the infrastructure advice, but to be honest with you, let me do something with the programming first.
But that's surely sensible, because this programming is what the audience wants, and they would like to, anything they're spending money on should at least have that element of future-proofing to it.
Well, it's not about future-proofing, it's about audience reach and penetration, more than future-proofing.
Yeah, okay.
The argument is about, I mean, there's one particular client that's just had some feedback from the market, which is very interesting in terms of the audience demographic at certain peak times. And their programming is very popular. If they went and put more money into production values, regardless of whether it was HD or SD, they'd probably have a better business model. So I think it depends very much where you are, but everybody we're speaking to is we're giving them the business model advice first and then the capital investment second.
Digital turnaround's a big issue.
I agree, completely agree with that.
Yep.
That's very true.
So the whole workflow, the whole back office,
especially in recessionary times, and I think that has slightly delayed HD penetration
Yeah.
because people have had to be more realistic and balance the budgets.
I was in a facility at the end of last week where they are very, very, very proud of the fact they have 2 perfectly working 2-inch machines. And they're very proud of it, and they use them a lot, and they have a whole set of skill set to do with that. Now, that particular broadcaster has done a remarkable job of keeping some very old technology running perfectly well. So when you sit and talk to their executives about, well, file-based and HD, you can see them thinking, why?
Yes.
Yeah. Very interesting. Unique place, perhaps. But the point earlier was about its time. I think it's longer than we think, but that's the issue.